So in my June 2025 update on the latest credit card news in offers, I'm going to talk about Chase, American Express, Barclaycard, and John Lewis. And I start off with the Chase credit card. Now, I've mentioned this to you guys before, way back last year when Chase were trialing it, first of all with their staff and then with some existing customers. And at the time, it didn't sound too exciting. But again, it was just a trial. So wasn't anything to sort of focus on too much, just letting you know it was there, it was happening. That trial is now been pretty much finished, and the credit card, we know what it's going to look like. It's been pushed out right now to all existing customers in batches. So if you already have a Chase current account, open it up, have a look. There's a good chance you'll be able to apply for the card. And then going mainstream, going to everybody with a brand new customer, very likely to happen this month as well. So time to tell you exactly what it is. And the bad news is, it's still not something to get massively excited about. I know, obviously, because we've got that history here in the UK, when the Chase debit card launched, of having a really good cashback rate. Obviously, early this year, that did change for the debit card. It's no longer as good, but it's still strong, still 1% on groceries and travel spending. There was hope that we might see something similar, if not better, on the credit card, particularly when you look at Chase's credit card in the States. Obviously, Chase is a huge bank in America, and there are so many different offers. It was a real competitor out there to American Express. None of that. No cashback at all on this card. So if that's what you're hoping for, then you are going to be better off sticking out with one of the other cards that we've already discussed recently in that kind of roundup of the best cashback and reward credit cards. Of course, if you want to see the latest list of all of those, they are covered over at becleverwithyourcash.com. So if there's no cashback, what is the point of the Chase credit card? What do you get? Well, obviously there are standard things that credit cards offer, such as Section 75 protection. This is the consumer rights that if you buy something that costs more than £100 but less than £30,000, doesn't have to be the full amount. You can put just a quid on the card if you want to pay the rest with debit cards, with cash, whatever it might be. But just a quid gives you this legal protection that if something goes wrong, it doesn't turn up, the business goes bust, whatever it might be, you can get the money back from the credit card provider. So that's always handy to have, but all credit cards do this. Yeah, it's not specific to Chase. Again, using your credit card can help boost your credit score as long as you pay it off completely every single month. But again, all credit cards do this. So that's nothing particularly different. It's just different to what you'll get with a Chase debit card. What it does give you is fee-free spending abroad. Obviously, not all credit cards do this, but again, there are many others that do that, and some, which we'll get to later on, which will do this and pay you cash back. So again, I don't think it's an amazing feature. It's good to have, good to know you've got it in your back pocket, maybe as an extra card if you do need to spend on a credit card overseas and you don't have a better card elsewhere, but again, nothing to get massively excited about. And it also gives you 0% purchases for 15 months. That basically means you buy something now, you don't have to pay for it for 15 months. If you buy something in 6 months' time, then you've got to pay for it in 9 months' time. Basically, 15 months from the time you open the card, it is 0%. Now, you do have to pay something. As with all 0% purchase cards, you've got to pay at least the minimum every single month. But the rest of it, there's no interest charge. So it's useful in that side of things for an expensive purchase that you know you can afford it, but you need to spread the cost out. Okay, that kind of thing it is useful for. Useful for stoozing as well, where you put your normal everyday spending on a 0% card and the money you would have spent from your debit card or paying off your cashback credit card every single month. Instead, you put that into savings and hopefully earn a high rate of interest there as well. Again, a good feature to have. But if you are really into or want to get a 0% purchase credit card, there are potentially going to be longer deals out there. Now, you might not need a longer deal, but if you did, you better go into a comparison site, putting your details in, doing an eligibility search and seeing how likely it is you are going to get all the different cards on offer and go for the one which best suits your situation. So, nothing too excited about there. But hey, hopefully this is the first card they're going to do. And I guess that after a while, once they've got this, they've got their foot in the door a bit more in that kind of lending market here in the UK, we might see other things going on. Now, if you do want to get it, you still think, hey, that still sounds good to me. Again, check your Chase app and you apply through there. It's a couple of clicks. It's really easy. They will check your eligibility first of all, and then you can make that full application, which obviously will check your credit score. But that is it, really. That's the Chase credit card. Now, other things to tell you about. I said I'll come back to card to use overseas that offers cashback. And this is the Barclaycard rewards card. Told you about this one for years and years and years and years as one of my top credit cards to spend with overseas, because it is one of the few credit cards that will give you cashback. And it's important to have a credit card when you go on holiday if you're doing things like hiring a car, because the money doesn't come straight out of your current account with a fee-free current account. It would pay with a credit card. It's sort of ring fenced, so you're not actually going to ever lose that money. It just sits there. It comes off your credit limit, but it's a great thing to have. And the Barclaycard rewards being my top pick. Now, this is not amazing, but it's still decent, 0.25% cashback. But they have boosted it. Now, they did this a few months ago. They're doing it again now. rather than 0.25%, if you apply by the August the 4th, 2025, you get an extra, so double the cashback, an extra 0.25% to 0.5% on all your purchases for a set period, so until the 30th of November 2025. So if you are going away this summer, this is a really good card to get. It gives you 0.5% cash back, and it is a credit card. So you might want to use it alongside a different card. We don't know whether Trading 212 will continue their increased cashback on their debit card past the start of July, but if they do, that would be a better in terms of earning cash back. But as I say, having a credit card on holiday that earns cash back, I think is really invaluable. The problem you've got with Barclaycard is if you already have a different Barclaycard, you can't have an additional one. Now, you might be able to swap it across, but then it's unlikely you'll get that offer. But again, you can always check within your Barclays app or your Barclaycard app. It will tell you if that is happening. Now, let's talk about John Lewis now. Now, the John Lewis Partnership Credit Card is one of the highest paying credit cards out there in terms of rewards. You get 1.25% back, which really, really difficult to get above 1% anywhere. So these were the best ones. The catch is that 1.25% is only at John Lewis and Waitrose. Now, if you have a John Lewis or Waitrose near you, my local supermarket is a Waitrose, so I tend to do my shopping at Waitrose. This sounds like a good option, right? And I have got one and I have used it in the past for my Waitrose shopping. But elsewhere, the rate hasn't been so good. It's been 0.25%. The equivalent of that, you get 1 point for every £4 that you spend, which works out at 0.25%. However, from the beginning of August, that is dropping. You will get 1 point for every £10 you spend outside of John Lewis and Waitrose, which works out at 0.1%, which is really, 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 really poor. So I wouldn't have used it at 0.25%. I certainly wouldn't be using it at 0.1%. Instead, look at one of those other cards that we talked about before, which pay you way more, at least 0.5%, if not as high as 1%, 1.5%, depending on which promoted deals are happening at different times. Again, we cover all of those at becleverwithyourcash.com. I would also say, though, that if you think, oh, it's still pretty good for John Lewis and Waitrose at 1.25%, it is, but don't forget there are these discounted gift card apps such as Cheddar and Jam Donut. Hyperjar does it as well. A number of places will do this, where you can get any supermarket, pretty much all, not all of them, but most supermarket gift vouchers at a discount between 2 and 5%. The rate varies because sometimes they're boosted up and it depends what supermarket you're going for. But this includes John Lewis and Waitrose. So even though I've got this John Lewis Partnership credit card, I never use it at John Lewis anymore because I'm getting a gift card. I'm getting sort of 3-4% back every time I shop. Anyway, that's happening from the start of August for those of you with a John Lewis card. Now let's talk about American Express now, because there are a couple of increased offers to tell you about and another change that's worth sharing with you. The first one is a bit of bad news. I hope it's only temporary, but it looks like American Express has been removed from Quidco and Top Cashback, because this was a great way to tell you all about a way to get an extra saving when you apply for a new card. Whether you're a brand new card holder or even an existing card holder, you could get between £5 and maybe £100, depending on the card, going via Quidco or Top Cashback. But since the middle of May, they seem to have disappeared from there. Now, again, it might just be temporary. It might come back, but that is bad news in lots of ways. However, that doesn't mean you can't get an extra save when you apply for a card, but it does mean you need to know somebody who's already got an American Express card, because if they do, then they can refer you. And this refer a friend scheme, the points vary. They used to be pretty much similar to what you'd get if you went via a cashback site, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, but you had to go for the extra step. The bonus would be obviously your mate who also refers you will also get a kickback as well. So win-win there in lots of ways, even if the rate was slightly less. However, what they are doing until early July, it's until the 15th of July exactly, you can get boosted refer a friend offers, and some of these are pretty good. So for example, the Amex reward credit card normally will give you 12,000 Amex points. If you get a refer a friend link instead now, it gives you 20,000. The Amex Gold would have given you 22,000, now gives you 35,000. The Amex Cashback would have given you 25 quid, now gives you 40. The Amex Platinum would have given you 55 Amex reward points, now gives you 80,000. And there are a few others in the mix there as well. Some of them don't increase by too much. For example, the BA Amex Premium Plus, that's no real change there. The Amex Nectar, no real change there. But the rest of them, it is an increased bonus. Certainly worth having a look if you are after a new card, getting a refer a friend link and going via there to get that extra cash. And one of them in particular leads me on to an offer that's running right now. This is the American Express Cashback card. It is one of my top picks for you guys. It's not the highest paying one, 0.75% on the first 10 grand you spend. Then it jumps up to 1.25%. So if you do spend a lot, averaging it out, hopefully you'll be nudging you closer to 1% as an average, which is pretty decent. But what I like about this one is if this is your first American Express card, you will still be eligible while you have this card for the bonuses from the Platinum and the BA Amex card. So you potentially can get a second or third bonus with this, whereas if you got the gold, you couldn't. So I think it's a good starting card. Now, one of the problems with this one is there was a £25 annual fee, but that has been removed temporarily. So at the moment, it is free for the first year. Plus, if you go via a refer a friend link, you get that extra 40 quid. Plus, for the first £2,500 you spend in the first 3 months, you get 5%, so potentially another 125 quid on that. So it's a really good time. If you're after that card, it's a really good time to be getting it. There is also a boosted offer with the Amex Marriot Bonvoy card. A huge number of extra points available there, an extra 60,000 rather than normal 20,000. Or if you go via a refer a friend link, there's an extra 63,000 rather than 23,000. Personally, I'm not bothered. It comes with an annual fee. If you are always traveling all the time and often in Marriott Bonvoy hotels, maybe, but I personally think you're better off looking at one of the other cards out there from American Express. Don't forget all the best cashback and reward credit cards. We've listed them all over at becleverwithyourcash.com. My name's Andy Webb. Thanks so much for watching. Check out these videos here for more ways to make the most of your money.